Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, you are definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Well, the transfer portal has continued to be pretty wacky around the country. And no more so than in Stillwater, the home of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, where right now, at minimum, you're looking at about 16 players that are leaving via the portal, most of them seniors that could still come back with eligibility due to portal year or whatever, the COVID year or whatever it may be, graduate transferring, stuff like that. But among these transfers that we're talking about, here's the thing, folks. This is a big issue, and this is not just it's pointing to a larger issue that I think you started to see during the COVID season when Chuba Hubbard left the team for a short bit, was angry about, a t-shirt that Gundy was wearing, but it was a larger issue at question of what was going on. Having gone 7-5 this season, you are talking about guys like Spencer Sanders, who has been the starting quarterback since he got to Stillwater, as well as leading rusher Dominic Richardson, Mason Cobb, Trace Ford. Big names, both sides of the football. And it doesn't even really stop there. You also have guys like, a freshman, Braylon Presley, whose brother Brennan Presley is the leading wide receiver for the Pokes as well. This is a problem, folks. And I would just go back to Oklahoma State's win over the Texas Longhorns when they came back in Stillwater. And the entire next week, they talked about what that meant for not only his legacy, but more like what it meant about his culture, Mike Gundy's culture at the school. What I would tell you is I thought then, and I think now that was a bunch of trash bullcrap, that the culture there has been one of losing, and it's starting to catch up and be ridiculous with some of these players as well, that they're unhappy at the fact that it just seems it's almost like it's getting toxic at this point. There's a lot of when you get Spencer Sanders, and this is a guy who really, if anybody was, had a run of the place to do whatever he wanted and not really get in any kind of hot water with Gundy, it was Spencer. He even had his little blow up on the sideline during the Bedlam game after he threw 4 interceptions, 3 of them in the first half, to go down 28-0 after the first quarter. Even then, he was going off on the offensive coordinator on the sideline. Nobody said nothing to him. They just dealt with it. But of course, you have Mason Cobb, who's, he's a junior. He's the leading tackler, definitely the leading tackler on the defense. He's in very, very important for them. Apparently, it looks to me as if they've been down at Texas A&M. They've been kind of, I've heard some different places that they've been tampering with him, and he was headed there no matter what. He has been offered by the Oklahoma Sooners as well, but it's unsure about that. We'll be talking about that this evening with Oklahoma football insider, recruiting insider anyway, Peyton Manning, on the show, on our live show. But this is a big what I'm noticing is, okay, so kind of going through this, you're looking at, you've got 5 on offense, 5 on defense that are leaving into the portal. And we're talking about important players. There's another 8 undecided, not sure if they're going to go. If Braylon Presley is leaving, his older brother Brennan might be as well. There's not a single senior that has eligibility left that has publicly stated that they will be staying on the roster. Not one. There's up to 8 that are undecided, just that we know of. So that's 10, 12, I mean, upwards of over 20. What? Not only that, Mike Gundy's not a big recruiter. He never really has been. And, it's kind of it's been kind of a testament to me that they've been able to win as much as they have. Although they get good players, but he just doesn't seem like he recruits. I don't think he really likes to recruit. I just don't think he loves it. He feels like it ought to sell itself for some reason. He acts like he's Oklahoma, which he isn't, But what I was getting at was in that entirety of that week, whenever he kept saying, well, the Bedlam week, even another thing, he was sitting there saying that had he went on and played at Oklahoma, he originally was going to go to Oklahoma, but he was going to get stuck behind. Well, he did get stuck behind the number 1 option quarterback, who was a freshman at the time. He was going to get stuck behind there, so that's what made him go ahead and decide to go to Okie Lite. Now, here's the thing, is that he was saying during that, had I done that, I'd probably be the head coach at Oklahoma now. Well, you might have got a shot. I tend to doubt it. And I know that you wouldn't have been able to go the amount of years that you go at Oklahoma State without beating your rivals. They wouldn't have let you made it past 6 years. You've beaten Oklahoma exactly 3 times in your career. You've won 1 conference title that you didn't have to win a conference championship for, and have yet to make a play. You don't ever win games of significance. So it's starting to come together as to why this is an issue for the folks, for the kids on the team, for that matter. Now, not only that, as I said, his recruiting, it leaves a lot to be desired. And it's weird that it does, in view of the fact that you've had players in the past, even such as himself, but also Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas and, Des Bryant. We could go on a list of offensive, Brandon Weeden was, I think he was a lot better than Mason Rudolph was. But, but when you talk about receivers coming through there's been plenty of them that have been really good. You've got, and of course, who's better than Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders, So it's not like there's that there's not any legacy or anything like that you could use to your advantage. You certainly can't use your record against Oklahoma, but it's weird that I just don't understand it. When everything that happened with Chuba Hubbard now, and he was angry. I think the tipping point, all that was the tipping point too, was when he saw him wearing that news network that is considered I forget which one it was. I think it was American, the AFN one or something like that, where Chuba got upset, left the team for a short bit, and then it caused them to have a talk. Basically, it was about a racism thing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and call him a racist, but I think that it was pretty clear that he didn't have really control of the situation at that point, and he was starting to lose, respect and a grip on the team. Okay. And it's obvious now, every year, when you figure they go into the conference championship, one of the the third time that he ever beats Oklahoma last year. And there's plenty of reason why that may have happened too. They beat Oklahoma in the Bedlam game. Right at the end of the game, they have already beaten Baylor in the year handily, and then they go and choke away the conference title game when they would have been in the playoff had they won. Spencer Sanders throws 4 interceptions, and they lose. It's just really not a good look. And now here you are, and at that time, and the loss to TCU, you started hearing grumblings from people like Mason Cobb around the program that they were sick and tired of losing. And he's really not. I mean, he's just the thing about Mike is he didn't even make any really good excuses for it. It didn't seem like to me. He's sitting in there talking about rushing, the rushing offense and stuff like that, and what they didn't do right. And it just seemed odd. It just seemed really odd to me. And all year it was just a bunch of weird. He never answers a question. It doesn't seem like he goes on these little stupid rants. They let him get away with it. All the reporters let him get away with it instead of like trying to hold him to anything. Not that you can really, when he's been around as long as he has, he's going to do what the hell he wants. I get that part. But I mean, and nobody really holds him accountable for winning and losing. They go 7-5 this season. That's one better than Oklahoma, but they got their ass kicked by Oklahoma too. So, when they came in with the expectations of certainly of winning the conference, if not possibly getting into the playoff finally. Of course, they didn't have the same defense that they did a year ago. That's when they should have done it. They had a chance. They had their chance last year. They had Jim Knowles as the defensive coordinator. They didn't get it done. But they never get it done. Well, the players apparently are sick of it. There's a lot of stuff going around about what the problem is. There's another 2 players that did not leave by the transfer portal or anything like that. They're just gone. And there were 2 first-year players in running back, true freshman C.J. Brown and junior college transfer offensive lineman Tyrone Weber, both of whom have just left the team. Neither are expected to enter the portal at this time, they said, according to the Oklahoman, which is, what do you mean they're not entering the portal? Weber appeared in just 2 games this season for the Cowboys, and Brown did not have any action. He was a red shirt behind a crowded group, obviously on the depth chart. They're pretty good at running back, but they just lost their best running back as well. But we're talking about 2 4-star prospects. Now, that was what I was about to get into. The fact that this recruiting has not been very good. This season's recruiting, their best and their top ranked player overall in their recruiting. Let's see, where is that? Dang it. Okay, so number 1, they're ranked 66th in the country with 12 commits so far. Okay, 66th. That's for the composite in the 247. Their top ranked commitment is from quarterback Zane Flores from Nebraska. He's just a 3-star, and he's the number 458th ranked player in the country at 6'3.5", 190 pounds. The next closest is number 612 linebacker Cam Franklin, and then number 612 tied with him, I guess, is defensive lineman Jaden Foreman, who's from Oklahoma City. Also, we're talking about 3 stars. Then you've got Cameron Hurd, wide receiver from Houston. He's also a 3-star. So, and that's at 629. The rest of these guys, you got the next place you find them, Dylan Smith at 835th in the country. And nobody else is even showing a ranking on 247. They're just showing NA. Okay. They're showing 3-star, except for this Ladarius Webb kid he's a cornerback at Jones College. But I mean, they're number 1, their recruiting is not good enough to replenish this. It didn't appear that either one of of Gundy's quarterbacks, aside from Spencer, were really ready for the time that they did get in while he was hurt this season. And maybe that's why he's tired of having to come in and play hurt, and just wanting to go get a chance to play somewhere else. I hadn't seen a ton on what the heck that was all about, but one thing is for sure, this is not looking good for Oklahoma State. Here's the deal. What the hell's going on? At what point, if you're, I mean, to me, what in the hell's going on with this ridiculous? They've got this stupid 5-year perpetual deal that renews every year for Mike Gundy. And my question is, why? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. My deal is that I just don't understand it. I don't understand how this guy has a 5-year perpetual deal that never ends, and yet, first off, you don't have to win games. You don't have to recruit on a high level. Now, they got to the conference championship, I guess, but it's weird to me that, even when you start listening amongst fans of this program, they're okay with just regular season wins and not winning the conference championship. They're okay that they don't beat, they feel inadequate or whatever and don't ever beat Oklahoma, which is weird to me. Oklahoma fans there's some Oklahoma fans that call for Venable's head after a 6-6 season in year one, when he's got to rebuild everything that wasn't being built correctly for a long time. And yet in Stillwater, this guy's been there for 18 seasons now. He's won exactly 3 freaking times against Oklahoma and has one conference championship to show for it. And he's got a 5-year deal that rolls over and has 5 more years on it at the end of every season. This is the mediocrity tells you that even being mediocre can get you rewarded at Oklahoma State, as far as the football program is concerned. And that's the only thing we're talking about here. The rest of the program there, I'm not saying anything. They've always been a fine school when it comes to academics. There's a lot of things going on with that. But what the hell is going on with this football program? I have no idea or understanding behind it. The one thing I would say is it started to look like, as I said, during the COVID year when Chuba Hubbard made that big stink about all that stuff, all of a sudden, it started looking like maybe there was a foundational crack. Well, somehow Gundy gets him in there, apologizes, does it all publicly so that he, looks like a good guy in the deal. He slides by. And it was after this that they gave him this perpetual 5-year deal, which is just so weird to me. In any event, I feel like maybe, at what point do you go ahead and get this guy out of there? Because it would be real easy to lose this program completely. And right now, you're talking about a time where you've got a couple years left before Oklahoma leaves for the SEC. You've already decided that you're not going to play them. The Bedlam game's over once they're gone. And honestly, they may not even play more than one more time, period. Actually, if it ends up working out the way it looks like it may, when these new schools enter the league next season. You've got Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF coming in, at plus BYU. So 4 new schools coming in, and Texas and Oklahoma are not going anywhere until 2025. That's been established. That's how it is. So chances are Oklahoma may not play Oklahoma State for the next 2 seasons either. They may play them one. They may play them one more only, but it looked like for sure they're not going to ever play them in Norman again. Now, what I was getting at is okay, this is a new league. You have a chance to establish yourself as part of its hierarchy right now. I realize that if you look at the records and how many wins and all this crap, and you can do all that if you want to. If mediocrity is okay with you, just a bunch of regular season wins, then fine. But to me, if I'm somebody that's in charge of this school and its football program, and now we're not even going to play Oklahoma anymore, uh, I would say, look, it's time that we made a change at the top of this program and made sure that we are positioned to win this conference. Because to me, it's you know what? It would be just as easy for you to completely slip to the bottom of it too. It really, really would. And not having to play and compete with Oklahoma anymore, I think that's something that at least gave OSU something to look at and be decent at. That they had to be at least good so they don't get completely embarrassed. Now they're not even going to do that. Uh, it would be easy to see this team fall apart. If I'm OSU, I get rid of him now. I get rid of him now. We're talking about he's losing control of his team. It's clear. There's as many as 8 undecided seniors, according to this here, that are saying that they may not be back, that they may enter the portal. They haven't, and not a single senior that has eligibility left and could stay has on the record said that they're going to. Not one. Um, you know, that's not good. If there are no seniors for Oklahoma State that have publicly confirmed their decision to return next season or use their extra year of eligibility given by the NCAA as a waiver because of the pandemic in 2020. Not one. Okay. You may see, there could be as many as, okay, well, there would be Cassidy, Hunter Woodward, Lamont Bishop, Sean Michael Flanagan, Ben Kapinski on defense, Nathan Latu, Jason Taylor, and Samuel. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. Tui Halamaka. Hey, I did that pretty good. Alex Hale and Zeke Zaragoza. They could all come back, and not a single one of those guys has said publicly that they are. And you have 5 that have already on the offense that have said no, 5 on the defense that have said no, that they're going into the portal. Not even to mention, you still have obviously Brennan Presley. If his little brother, not necessarily that he has to go if his little brother's leaving, but it seems obvious that if one's going to go, the other one probably will also. So I don't know, man. To me, I think it's time. It should have been time a long time ago. I've never been one of the guys that's going to sit there and give a lot of love to Mike Gundy because I think he's full of crap. First of all, and he just doesn't win. And he's been literally, rewarded for mediocrity for 18 years. There's no way he'd have made it past year 4, not beating. If he's at Oklahoma, he doesn't make it past year 4 not beating his rivals. Texas. Because, again, Oklahoma State's not really a rival. You got to beat them sometimes. Even though I know they want to be. Look, all I'm saying is that something's going to have to give here. And this is their opportunity. If you're Oklahoma State, this is your opportunity to take over a conference and be at the top of it. There's other good programs that are going to be there, but there's not any real blue blood. Not a single one is a real blue blood football program. You're just as good as anybody else has ever been, and probably better than most. As far as your overall record and stuff like that in the last 20 years or so. You still don't win anything, but still, at least for your overall record, there's no reason why you should not be able to take over. And why is the recruiting so bad there? I just don't get it. I don't get it. To me, it almost seems like Gundy's mailing it in. I think I really feel like that's the message that's being sent by the team as well, that they're tired of the way things are done there. They're not even being held accountable, and they don't like it. not only that, he's not being held accountable for what's going on. You don't hold him accountable for a 7-5 season. He acted like every time they lost, well, that wasn't as fun as the last one. It just doesn't seem to matter anymore to Mike Gundy. And I was with Paul Feinbaum when he said it during the whole Chuba Hubbard thing, is I don't know why he still has a job there anyway. I feel like it's time to let him go. I really do. Folks, if you're not already a subscriber, I would hope that you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscriber button as well. We're on our way to 1,000 subs, and we're trying to get there as quick as possible. Our watch time hours are great. We hadn't quite gotten there yet. There is a tipping option now that you can actually throw a tip in there, help us out for the show moving forward, if you would. And then also there is our partnership with Fanatics, the number one sports retail merchandise company in the world. All you got to do is use our link, our shopping link. It's bit.ly/HOF-Fanatics, bit.ly/HOF-Fanatics. Just shop as normal, up to 65% off everything in the store, and you will even get a lot of things that aren't generally on sale. You'll get for a great deal. Hey folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just wanted to remind you to join myself and Oklahoma recruiting insider Peyton Manning tonight at 9:30 Eastern Time as we break down, well, all the crazy stuff that's going on in the NCAA transfer portal. And it is crazy, believe me. It's not so bad at Oklahoma, but up the road at Stillwater, wow. Also, we will kind of go through some of the things that the Sooners are doing, players that they are offering out of the portal, and some updates on certain players that we feel like are about to be in the fold as far as the Sooners 2023 recruiting class is concerned. That includes players like Peyton Bowen, who still seems very, very close to flipping from Notre Dame, along with David Hicks. And there's a couple of guys that just kind of came into the situation here in the last week or so that it's looking really good for Oklahoma on as well. Don't miss it. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight on the Hall of Fame College Football Live Show. See you then. Check us out. It's youtube.com/CFB-podcast. Make sure you're already it's right where you are right now. Also on Facebook, we will be there as well. Guys, thanks a lot for coming. We will see you tonight